Why is it that people perceive that people that are quiet or do not carry the weight of the world on their shoulders, or they're constantly online complaining, why do they take that as someone being strong? And is it really an excuse not to show up for them? Is it really an excuse not to be present or to even show care of some kind? I want to know what your thoughts are about this. We're going to talk about it. You know, some of the misconceptions about people that are perceived to be strong is that they don't need anything. Oh, they got it. Have you ever been placed in this category? And have you ever wondered how you got placed in the category in the first place? Like, who goes around and says with some type of barometer to say how strong a person is? How does each individual know how strong a person is? Or is that an assumption? Or is that an excuse not to show up, not to show care, or to be neglectful to our relatives? Oh, they're strong. Have you ever wondered how anybody has ever perceived or come to the conclusion that you were strong? I have. Is there like some type of banner that's across your head that says she's strong? Is it an attitude? Because what I don't get is how in the world you can perceive somebody as strong and they don't ever say anything. So is the fact that they're quiet saying they're strong? Is the fact that they just continue to go through life's journey? How do you know exactly if a person is strong if you have never spent any amount of time with them? Is it based upon where they came from, their family dynamics? Is it based upon, their parents? What is it based on? Where do these people get this from? Has the Holy Spirit told them this thing? I have questions. So my other thought is this. Even if you have validated that the person is strong, does that mean that strong people don't need anything? These are the things that mold through my mind from time to time. Like, how in the world do we perceive a person being strong as not needing anything? I would think that in order for the person to continue to be strong, they would need strong roots around them to keep them strong. They would need nourishment. They would need comfort. They would need care of some kind. I had a post from one of my friends on Facebook, and the post went like this, and I'm paraphrasing. Stop expecting you from other people. And that's a hard concept, because I'm not one of those individuals that assumes because a person is strong that they don't have a need, they don't have a breaking point, they don't have a weak moment, they're not fragile. Because strength does not mean that a person is not fragile or they're not having an internal meltdown. But for the people that are around, or in the cheap seats, I should say, they're looking at something and they created a persona, they've created a narrative that had nothing to do with you. See, I used to think, well, wait a minute. Am I wearing something across my forehead? Lord, is there an aura that I project? Is there something that I'm doing and saying that makes people feel like I don't need anything, or I can handle it all? No. When you lead a quiet and private life, and you don't rant and rave in public, and you don't go, woe is me, I'm having trouble, I'm this, I'm downtrodden, and I'm this or that. I guess that's the perception that people get when you don't do those things. So I guess if I were a whiner or a complainer or a person that showed up on social media and cried all the time and begged all the time, maybe then they would perceive me as weak. I don't know. I think it's very strange. And there are stories and there are memes and all the different things that tell you, check on your strong friends. But nobody seems to take that seriously. Just like there was a story about Robin Williams. Robin Williams, I love him. Phenomenal comedian, phenomenal actor, all of the above. Just I feel was a roundabout, well-rounded person who dealt with depression, but he loved to make people laugh. He always tried to help people. He tried to, be the best human being that he could possibly be. But yet, no one took notice that the man was dealing with a battle of depression. He was dealing with other illnesses. He was dealing with things in life. But nobody saw anything, or I will say they ignored it because they didn't want to deal with it, or maybe some just didn't know how to deal with it. That's a fair assumption. But he was strong before the masses, and people were like, oh, he's got it all together. He stopped doing drugs, he stopped doing this, and now he's just together. Not understanding that the man was barely getting up with any hope for himself, but he showed up for everybody else and nobody showed up for him. And it is a tragedy when we see people that are perceived to be strong, they're ignored. Those are the ones that are carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. They're carrying grief. They're carrying disappointment. They're carrying heaviness. They're carrying some level of shame, some level of regret, but they're still showing up. They show up for their relatives. They show up for their friends. And yet no one shows up for them. So my question to you all is, why? Is it a lack of knowing? And I can't even say that, okay, well, the the most common thing that people say was, I didn't know. Okay, that's fair. But did you ever try to find out? Did you ever call and say, hey, sis, hey, bruh, hug, hey, cuz, hey, best friend, hey, whomever. How you doing today? Do you need anything? And they may tell you no. But you keep trying and you keep checking. You just don't assume because there's nothing wrong in that particular moment in day that, oh, they're strong. They can get through it. I think that is a sorry excuse for people to be selfish and to not care. Now, if you don't care, you don't care. Hey, but don't be sitting over here if something happened to them and you crying and falling out and acting a fool when you didn't show up in life. Don't worry about showing up in death. See, because I realize I've been around too many strong people that have gone through so much. And I have been miscategorized. I'm not going to say miscategorized in the things that I'm not strong. I'm only strong because God makes me strong. It's the God in me that keeps me where I am. Believe me, if I didn't have him on my side, I would have been bat crazy. I don't know. I'm trying to really understand, what is it that people see when they see certain individuals. Now, yes, some people can see God's aura, his presence in your life, but that doesn't mean that you are strong all the time. And we need to stop assuming that because no one complains, because no one whines and they whimper and they beg and they plead, is that they're not at their breaking point. I need us to do better. Because so many people are out here taking themselves out because they feel like no one cares. They don't want to be a burden to another individual. Or every time they talk about something or they try to mention something, people want to change the subject or overtalk them and do all this looty-la. And I'm saying, if you're one of those individuals that have said, oh, they're strong or they don't need nothing, I'm going to tell you right now, stop it. Because that's a lie and a narrative that you're telling yourself so that you do not have to do an investigation. Meaning, get more in detail, more involved. Sometimes you're going to have to pull from this individual that's going through stuff. And you only do that if you care. Well, they don't want to say nothing. They don't want to say nothing because maybe you're not a safe space. Let's do better, y'all.
Don't worry about me. I'ma be alright. Got G.O.D. all over my life. Don't worry where I've been, what I did, how I came up. Every saying was a sin until they changed. Don't worry about me.